Content. Building rapport. 6 steps to building rapport. Calibration. Perceptual positions. Building rapport. Introduction. Rapport has been defined as unconscious sameness. When you like someone, perhaps on a first meeting, and find them easy to talk to, it is because you find that they are like you in certain ways. These ways can be quite superficial, for example posture and voice tone, or very deep, sharing beliefs and values. Rapport is the ultimate tool for producing results with other people, and thus it is so vital for effective communication. We'll examine several tools for building rapport in this chapter. 6 steps to building rapport. Whether you know the person or not, there are 6 main steps to establishing rapport with anyone. Figure 8 demonstrates the 6 steps. Matching the person's physiology. Matching their voice. Matching how they deal with information chunk size. Matching Commodore N experiences. Powerful rapport levels. Figure 8, 6 steps to building rapport. When you bear in mind that as much as 93% of all communication is down to the tonality of your voice and your body language, building rapport is far more than just talking about common experiences. It's an important point to remember that people like people when they are similar to themselves, and when they are not, it's so much more difficult to have any sort of relationship with that person, never mind an effective one. Let's now look at each of the 6 steps to building rapport. Match the person's sensory modality. To match a person's sensory modality means taking all of the information you learned in Chapter 4 and putting it into use. You will want to listen for the indicator words and eye movements that were covered and then respond in a similar way. Mirror the person's physiology. Since so much of our communication is nonverbal, we receive the majority of our information from another person through the subconscious messages they are sending with their physiology or body language. This is a great reason to understand body language, because you can use it to communicate intentionally that you are on the same wavelength as another person. Next time you are in a conversation that you are enjoying or with whom it is important to you to make a good impression, notice their body language. Now notice yours. Chances are, you have subconsciously mimicked their body language. If they lean forward, you lean forward. If they cross one foot over their knee, you do the same. This is our automatic response to someone that we want to establish a positive connection with, and it's one you can use to enhance your communication with someone. Body language is a useful tool that you can learn to use. You can mimic another's body language when you want to express support for them. You can use a person's body language to realize that your message is incomplete, there is more to say, or there are questions to be answered. When you are in a situation where you want to convey your support of another person, you can intentionally mirror their body language. If you are standing in the hallway and they lean to one side, mirror their action. If they sit back and relax, do the same. You are sending subconscious signals that you are on their side, even if the topic that you are discussing is. When you are in a situation where you want to convey your support of another person, you can intentionally mirror their body language. If you are standing in the hallway and they lean to one side, mirror their action. If they sit back and relax, do the same. You are sending subconscious signals that you are on their side, even if the topic that you are discussing is one where there may be disagreement. It reaffirms that you are part of the same team, no matter what else might be going on. You can also use this tool to gauge whether or not others are buying what you are saying. Are they using words that express agreement, but sitting all wound up with crossed arms and legs? Unless they just happen to be cold, chances are that there is some matter still unresolved in their mind. You can use this signal as information to you that you still need to do some explaining or ask some additional questions. Match the person's voice. You can also match the tone of voice and the speed at which a person talks. For example, if they are a fast talker, try to speak faster yourself. If they happen to speak slowly, watch your own pace and slow it down. Also be sure that you don't let their slow speaking aggravate you, a sure way to damage your rapport. If you are communicating with a person who has an accent that is different than yours, also be careful that you don't unconsciously mimic their accent. This can be seen as offensive. Match the person's breathing. Sure, we each have a different rate and depth of breathing when we are not thinking about it. If you are rather fit and the person you are speaking to is not, and you are walking to a meeting together, chances are you won't be able to put this tool into use. But whenever you can, try to match the other person's breathing in pace and depth. Breathe in when they do and exhale when they do. This is another subconscious way of indicating that you are in support or agreement with the other person and can help you build deeper rapport. Whenever you can, match the other person's breathing in pace and depth. Match the way the person deals with information. This is not the same advice as matching the other person's way of thinking. Instead, this advice refers to matching the chunk size of information that the person is comfortable dealing with. For example, do they want to take information in one small detail, or chunk, at a time? Or are they a big picture person and want to just get the broad strokes overview? Match the chunk size of information that the other person is most comfortable dealing with. This is a challenge for many people because if you are a detail-oriented person, you will naturally feel that it is important to convey information to the other person in small, specific chunks. But if that person is a big picture person and you attempt to feed them every tiny detail, they are going to get bored, overwhelmed, or upset. Since you are the one that understands how important using the right chunk size of information is, you can adapt your own preference to that of the other person. Not doing so can quickly turn against you when it comes to rapport. Match common experiences. Matching common experiences is about finding some commonality to talk about. We might attempt to match experiences, interests, backgrounds, or acquaintances. This is often the first thing we attempt to do when we meet someone new. We look for things we have in common. It's a natural, fast way to build rapport. We ask where they are from, what they do, or how they know the other people in the room. But be sure that you don't choose to focus only on this step. If the preceding steps are out of sync, the other person won't feel that any rapport building is natural and sincere. Be sure not to concentrate only on this step without performing the earlier steps. Calibration. When you are using these tools, it's important to remember that you need to be subtle. Matching and mirroring should appear natural, not intentional. Typically, the other person will be focusing so much on what they have to say that they will not even notice. But calibration is one way of determining whether you are in rapport with someone. This basically means that you need to develop your ability to notice what is happening to such an extent that you can begin to see people's reactions to communication. If the person seems to be comfortable with what you are doing, more than likely you are building rapport. Look out for their eye movement, the muscles around the eyes, their lip movement, and twitches or changes in breathing. Calibration means learning to see how the other person is reacting to your attempts to build rapport. PERECEPTUAL positions. We've all heard the expression, put yourself in my shoes. The idea of raking up someone else's point of view is a very powerful one in learning to communicate at an advanced level. We distinguish three perceptual positions. IST position is seeing, hearing and feeling the situation through your own eyes, ears, and emotions. You apply your own values and beliefs. You use the word I to mean yourself. 2ND position is seeing things from the point of view of the other person in a situation. You imagine you are that person, with their values, beliefs, and outlook, beginning to understand the choices they make. You use the word I to mean the other person because, at that moment, you are them. Third position is that of a detached observer. When you adopt this position, you will see yourself and the other people in the situation, perhaps imagining yourself floating above the scene or viewing it through a pane of glass. This enables you to see what's happening without being affected by emotions. Taking up first position is also referred to as being associated, and being in third position is dissociated. These positions can be used in real time, actually during an interaction with someone, when inwardly reviewing a past event, when rehearsing a future situation. It's worth practicing different perceptual positions, particularly where there's disagreement. You don't have to give up your opinion, just try on the other's view of the world. The insight you gain can really help you to decide what to say or do next to make it easier for the other person to agree, or it will show you compromises that work for both of you. Here are the steps to use in order to try on the different perceptual positions. Recall a situation where a communication has not gone how you wanted it to. Perhaps a conversation that turned into an argument. One position, put yourself back into that situation as if you are actually there again, seeing through your own eyes, hearing through your own ears and feeling through your own skin. What can you see, hear, and feel? What are you thinking? What state are you in? Second position, put yourself into the other person's position. It may help to move physically to where you imagine them to be in step 1. Become that person. What can you see, hear, and feel? What are you thinking? What do you believe about this situation? Which of your values are relevant? What is your state? What do you want to happen? 3rd position, step to one side and become an uninvolved observer. You might imagine yourself floating up in the air to be well outside of the situation. What is happening? What do you see and hear? What are both of the people doing? What is important to them? What positive intentions do they have in common? Return to first position and review what you have learned about the other person and about yourself. Hopefully you can learn something valuable, particularly if this is a person that you will need to be interacting with on a regular basis. You can try this tool in any relationship you have that is valuable, not just those in the work environment.